Y'all. She flew 4,000 miles away to meet him. CTV captured her last moments. We gonna see what they talking about, man. Let's see what they talking about.
On the morning of February 1st, 2022, Ashley ran outside barefoot, bleeding from a wound on her palm, to a neighbor's house for help. She then went back inside, and no one saw her alive again. What happened behind that closed door in a quiet neighborhood in Chelmsford, England, would shake two countries to their core.
Hey, what y'all doing? Somebody come to y'all damn crib barefoot, gang? I don't know. I would obviously think there's something wrong. Fuck is this random white bitch doing at my door barefoot, gang? What the hell?
A 19-year-old girl from Canada had traveled over 4,000 miles to finally meet the man she had loved for 7 years. She believed in
7
him.
years?
She protected him. She stayed when every instinct told her to run, and it cost her everything. This is the story of Ashley Wadsworth, a story about online love, obsession, control, and the devastating consequences of ignoring.
So I know she wasn't talking to this nigga for 7 years online without seeing him not once. In 7 years, gang? That better not be the story. I crashed the fuck. That better not be the story.
Every single warning sign. A story that her family now shares so that someone else, just one person, might make a different choice. Because the red flags were there. They've always been there, and nobody caught them in time.
Loud ass, dramatic ass music.
2021. Ashley is 19 years old, buzzing with excitement, sitting on a plane at the airport in Canada with a 6-month tourist visa tucked safely in her bag. She snaps a photo and sends a Snapchat message to her family. "I'm in my plane," she writes. It's huge. That message captures everything she is in that moment. Joyful, wide-eyed, full of the kind of hope that only comes when a dream you have carried for years is finally actually happening. She is flying to England. Specifically Chelmsford,
no.
a city of about 180,000 people, roughly an hour's drive from London.
I thought they was
going
gonna say she was going to America or something.
The 23-year-old man she has been talking to online since she...
Gang. Look at this nigga. Take a good look at this nigga, folks. Tell me he don't look weird. Take a good look in this nigga's ass. Tell me he don't look weird, gang. I could've seen this shit coming. I ain't gonna lie, folks. And you been talking to this nigga for 7 years? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not even 6. 7 years. Almost a decade you been talking to this nigga. You 19. So 19. My bad. Y'all, let me pull out my calculator. I'm a little slow. As y'all know, as y'all should know already, gang. Hold on. 19 minus 7. I could've did that in my fucking head. But she been talking to this nigga since she was 12 years old. 12? And she ain't never met this nigga. The fact that he in England confirmed that she ain't never met this nigga.
He was 12 years old. 7 years of FaceTime calls and text messages, of gifts sent across the Atlantic, of arguments and makeups and promises. 7 years of building a life together in the only space they had, a screen. Now that screen is disappearing, and the real Jack Seppel is about to come into full focus. Ashley's mother, Christy, would later say something that will break your heart if you let it. She thought the worst that could happen was that Ashley would go, things wouldn't work out, and then she would come home. Simple as that.
That's
a
OG
young girl
note.
chasing a romance that fizzles out, learning a lesson, coming back to her family.
Her OG. Hey, I blame the parents, bro. You mean to tell me you knew your daughter was talking to a nigga online through text messages and FaceTimes for 7 years since she was 12 years old? 12. And you sat back and you allowed this shit? Whatever happened to her, blame the parents.
In Christy's mind. She had no idea what was actually waiting for her daughter on the other side of that flight. When Ashley finally arrived in England after 10 hours in the air, the couple met for the very first time in person. By all accounts, it was an exciting moment. Ashley posted photos on social media, she and Jack visiting places together, smiling, looking like any other young couple in love. Her friends and family back in Vernon, British Columbia, scrolled through those photos and felt relieved. She seemed happy, she seemed fine, but the camera only ever shows what someone wants you to see. The real-life Jack Seppel turned out to be almost exactly what Ashley had experienced online. And that was the problem. He was kind sometimes, sentimental even, but he also had a temper. He was unemployed, living off money provided by his mother who stayed nearby, and he had no friends to speak of, no social life beyond his phone and a game console.
That's the type of nigga you talk to for 7 years. Nigga has no job, no source of income, living with OG, no friends, no hoes. You the only hoe, boy, you the only hoe he has talked to in those 7 years. 7 years, this nigga was being a weirdo in his room, playing the game, whacking his shit, gang. 365 days times 7. That's the type of nigga you want, man.
No ambitions that pulled him out of the apartment and into the world. And now Ashley was there with him, 24 hours a day, in a foreign country, with no job because she was a tourist, no church community because he would not allow it, and no way to simply step outside and breathe.
So she was in there with the OG?
Before she left Canada, a friend from her church had connected her with American missionaries around her age who were going to be in Chelmsford at the same time. Ashley had been looking forward to meeting them, attending Sunday services, having people...
Look at this nigga. Y'all gonna tell me he looks normal. Alright, boom, look at her. She look normal, folks. She look good, and she kinda fine for a white girl. She kinda look good for a white girl. Now look at this beady-eyed nigga, folks. This the type of nigga you fell in love with, shorty.
People around her who shared her faith, but Jack disapproved. He forbade her to attend church. He did not want her talking to anyone he had not approved of. That is not a quirk.
That nigga told you don't go to church?
Cage being built around someone while they are still standing inside it. Ashley found a workaround. She began texting the missionaries in secret, deleting the WhatsApp conversations afterward because she knew Jack was constantly checking her phone.
Oh, this nigga
She was
crazy.
hiding things from the man she...
Look, bro. Shorty, you lived in Canada your whole life, bro. I know you've seen niggas come and go. But you went out to England and you decided, hey, this man right here, This cross-eyed, weird-looking motherfucker. This is the nigga I want to turn to my right and see waking up next to me every fucking morning for the rest of my life. That's what you said. In your head. Like, y'all females better be careful for these niggas be real life weird. And it's like, y'all ass ignore every fucking sign. And I bet he wasn't the only nigga in her life, though. She probably had some real normal niggas. You know what I'm saying? They was probably fucking with each other. But she probably cut all of them off for this nigga. It's either that or he can't get no pussy and she can't get no dick. I don't know, fo.
Come all this way to be with. She was already managing him, tiptoeing around his moods, calculating every small move. This is how control works. Slowly, quietly.
Man, they got the same
until
eye
the person
color.
being controlled cannot remember what it felt like to move freely. About 6 weeks after Ashley arrived in England, Jack hit her for the first time. Let that settle for a moment. 6 weeks. That is how long it took before the physical violence began.
Hey. Any nigga that hit a bitch unprovoked is a fucking dork. Is a fucking dork. Is a fucking dork. So why Jack ain't visit her family in Canada and hit her in front of her dad? Hit her in front of her brothers. This be the problem with y'all bitches, folks. Y'all get trapped. These niggas want y'all to themselves. They want y'all alone. They want y'all far from y'all family. So they can do shit like this to y'all. And then you could cry and scream victim all you want. But you don't want to leave for real. So you gonna hey, hold on, get this nigga nipples out my fucking face. Hold on, folks. What the hell?
Jack did not hide it.
Hold on. Alright. But these the type of niggas for that y'all fall for. Y'all find y'allself finding love for. These niggas that'll have you in a fucking foreign country in the middle of nowhere, living with his fucking mother with no job. You looking at this nigga 24/7 every fucking day. He's not doing shit. He doesn't have a job. You know, he has no friends. He has no social life. Bitch, he's weird. And you might be weird too for the fact that you was fucking with him and he hit you and you decided, oh, it was a mistake. He won't do it again. Bitch, you're retarded.
Did his own mother to tell her. He wrote that he had smacked Ashley because he found out she had blocked 2 British numbers on her phone years earlier, before she even arrived.
Years
His numbers
earlier.
belonged to other men. His mother's response was swift and clear. That's no reason to lay a hand on her, she replied.
This
She was
nigga's
right, but her son
stupid.
was not listening.
She blocked 2 numbers years earlier before y'all met. And you and your feelings, you tight? Oh, he ain't never had a girl before, so cause if you snapping about that, hey, any minor inconvenience, he killing his spouse. And I'm sorry that this girl, she done got with this nigga, emotionally unstable, insecure, piece of shit, gang. Like, she done got with this goofy ass nigga and felt his wrath cause he insecure about himself. Mind you, I bet he never had a bitch, but he feared getting cheated on so bad, he don't even know what it's like. But he fear it so much.
The day after he hit her, Ashley changed her Facebook profile photo to a picture of Jack hugging her, with the caption, "My bestie," and a red heart emoji.
Yeah, this bitch crazy.
Outside, everything was fine.
This bitch is
Better than
stupid,
fine
man.
even. Sweet and affectionate. But privately, Ashley was doing something else entirely. She created a secret album on her phone. She was photographing her bruises. Quietly and
Damn.
privately, she was documenting what was happening to her body.
Fuck, is this nigga
Some
hitting you
part
with
of
a
her
bat?
Some part of her was keeping a record, even when she could not yet bring herself to walk out the door. She told her older sister Haley the truth. She said Jack was not the man she had imagined. But then she made Haley promise not to tell their mother, threatening to stop talking to Haley altogether if she broke that confidence. Ashley was protecting Jack, even as she was photographing her own injuries. This is one of the most heartbreaking patterns in abusive relationships. The victim becomes the protector of the very person hurting them. She was afraid the police would arrest him. She was afraid he would harm himself. She had watched him use self-harm as a manipulation tool before, and she had internalized his fragility as her responsibility. Jack
Why do you care? This nigga's beating your ass. Shorty, did you not just see the bruises on her ass, fool? She look like she got hit from base 1, 2, and 3, gang. Like, it looked like her bruise is so fucking big. It looked like Phono took a bat to her shit. It just started whacking the fuck out her ass. And you defending this nigga. That make a nigga like me not want to feel bad for you. And this go for anybody for like, hey, motherfuckers ain't gonna like my opinions, fool. Cause I don't give a fuck. I don't give no fuck, fool. I'm gonna tell the real. Bitch, you slow. And this nigga's fucking crazy, bro. This nigga's a fucking lunatic. And hey, stop looking at me, fool. I almost grab my gun.
had a documented history of self-harm used strategically. When he wanted comfort or compliance
He
from a girlfriend,
strategically
he hurt
using
himself,
self-harm.
but never in ways
Okay.
that seriously endangered his life. It was a performance designed to keep women close, to make them feel that leaving would cost him everything. He deployed this same tactic with Ashley. At the end of December 2021, he swallowed a supply of sedative medication. Ashley called an ambulance. He was taken to the hospital and received treatment.
Oh, so he a junkie too.
She
Okay.
did not tell her friends. Only Haley knew, and Haley begged her to come home. But Ashley stayed. January 2022 brought more violence. Jack smashed a beer mug over Ashley's head. She was so distressed that she FaceTimed Haley in the middle of it, crying, while Jack screamed in the background and forced her to clean up the broken pieces. Haley was horrified. She begged and pleaded. Ashley seemed to agree she would leave, and then she changed her mind. Her family believes she changed her mind because Jack apologized, because he promised to change. Because he showed her his softer side, the version of himself she had fallen in love with at 12 years old, and she chose to believe that version was still in there, still reachable.
Bitch. He smacked you on top of your motherfucking head with a beer bottle, nigga. A Bud Light can. A fucking Heineken bottle. A fucking Corona bottle. He slapped that shit on top of your motherfucking head, shorty. And then told your ass, hey, bitch, get on your knees and clean that shit. And you telling your sister, oh, I'm finna leave this time, girl. Girl, I'm finna leave. And your dumb ass stayed. I can't believe this, man.
It is not a weakness to want to believe that. It is human. But in this case, it was also fatal. The cycle continued, things would calm down, Jack would be kind. Then he would explode again. He found old messages from a young Canadian man on Ashley's phone and demanded her social media passwords. She gave them to him. He now had access to every conversation she had, every contact, every connection to the world outside their apartment. During a fight in late January, he hit her again and threw a TV remote at her while she was on a FaceTime call with Haley. Once again, Haley begged. Once again, Ashley seemed to relent. Once again, she stayed. On January 30th, Jack...
This nigga, he hating you in front of your sister. He don't get no fuck.
In retrospect, I'm obsessed with Ashley's past, he wrote. From that moment, the clock was ticking. Now we arrive at the morning of February 1st, 2022. The morning that begins this story. Jack is furious again. Shortly before 8 in the morning, the couple's neighbor hears screaming through the wall, and then, a few moments later, Ashley appears at her neighbor's door. She is barefoot, she is in tears, blood is dripping from a cut on her palm. She tells the neighbor that Jack hit her, smashed her phone, and threw their kitten against the wall. She says she is afraid for her life, but then, in the same breath, she asks the neighbor not to call the police. She's afraid Jack...
What? Hey, gang. Hey, this might be fucked up to say, but bitch, stop asking for help if you don't want it. If you come to my door, you leaking, you bleeding, you over bruised, and you talking about your boyfriend beating the fuck out your ass, and you don't want me to call the police, you don't want me to lay hands on him, you don't want to do anything, bitch, you must got a kink. Go back home. What are you at my door for? What can I do for you? This nigga threw your fucking kitten against the wall, and then you went to the neighbor's house looking for help, but in the same breath told them don't call 12. This bitch is retired. That's the only explanation I come up with. It don't make sense.
Jack will harm himself. She's afraid he will go to prison. The neighbor goes to speak to Jack. And Jack, skilled manipulator that he is, performs perfectly. He apologizes. He says everything will be fine. He is calm. He is reasonable. He is the version of himself that makes people think, maybe it really will be okay. The neighbor leaves. Ashley makes the decision to go back inside. That door closes behind her. No one will ever see her alive again. About an hour after that, a second neighbor comes to the door with a package that had been delivered to her by mistake. While Jack is occupied at the front door talking to this neighbor, Ashley seizes the moment. She grabs Jack's phone and calls her family in Canada. It is the middle of the night in Vernon. It is around 3 in the morning there. But when Ashley calls, her family answers. And what they hear shocks them. Ashley is asking for help. She wants to come home. She is describing, for the first time directly to her mother, what has been happening in that apartment. Christy does not hesitate. The family immediately books Ashley a plane ticket. The flight is set for February 3rd, 2 days away. Christy gets on the phone with Jack directly. She tells him plainly.
And I hope that's not her father, gang. Cause, hey, I don't got no kids right now. Fingers crossed. But if my daughter, I don't give a fuck where she is. I don't care if I'm in fucking Alaska and she's in Australia. Nigga, if she called my phone talking about her boyfriend been beating the fuck out of her for months and months and months, and she been trying to leave and escape and shit, all this goofy shit, I'm not booking her a plane ticket to come back home. I'm booking me a plane ticket to put that nigga in the fucking body bag. Like, these niggas got the game so fucking fucked up, man. And like I said, I blame the parents, man. Cause y'all sat there, y'all heard her pleading on the call, and y'all booked her a plane ticket. Y'all didn't call the police. Y'all didn't do nothing. Y'all booked her a plane ticket from a nigga that been beating her ass probably every day since the day she got there. Y'all expect her. She been trying to escape. Y'all expect her to just run out the crib with this fucking psycho and board the plane. He probably got all her information. He probably had the phones. You don't even know, so this nigga probably made her some food and made her swallow a fucking air tag. These niggas be crazy. Probably gave her a necklace, put an air tag in that motherfucker. These niggas be crazy, I'm telling you. I ain't never lied, shorty.
If he touches her daughter again, she will call the police. The call ends. It is approximately 11 in the morning in Chelmsford. And the moment Ashley hangs up the phone, Jack stops pretending. He attacks her immediately. A few minutes later, he texts his mother. The words he writes are chilling. I beat up Ashley really bad. Then, 14 minutes after that, another message. She thinks she broke her arm. I picked her up and threw her on the ground and punched her and ripped her all around the lounge. Ashley is still alive at this point. She is injured, she is terrified, and she is trying desperately to reach someone.
Jail.
From 11 in the morning until 12:38 in the afternoon, she uses Jack's phone to send messages. She writes to family and friends back in Vernon, where it is still the middle of the night. She writes to her church acquaintances in Chelmsford. One message stands out above all the others. It's Ashley. She writes to one friend. I need your help. It's an emergency, please. A few hours later, that same friend receives follow-up messages saying everything is now fine, not to worry. But Ashley did not send those messages. Jack did. He took the phone back and typed those reassurances himself, telling everyone who might raise the alarm that there was nothing to see here. No one heard...
Look at this nigga. Take a good look at this nigga. And I guarantee you, if Ashley had a real nigga in her life, they would have beat the fuck out this nigga. Me personally, I would have beat the shit out this nigga. I would have damn near killed this nigga. I would have murdered this nigga. Look at him. I would have been an sis for sis. Hey, I don't like this nigga. I don't like him. He weird. He don't got no friends. He don't leave the house. You know what I'm saying? He grabbed cats out the backyard and cut their guts out and shit. Like, says he's weird, bro. Like, I get y'all been talking since y'all was fucking 12 and shit, but nah, shorty. This nigga's weird. You gotta leave him alone.
Received Ashley's desperate messages saw them in time. It was the middle of the night in Canada. Her church contacts were asleep or away from their phones. By the time anyone read those words, it was already too late. Shortly before 1 in the afternoon on February 1st, 2022, Jack Seppel strangled Ashley Wadsworth. But that was not enough for him. He went to the kitchen, he picked up a knife, he returned to the bedroom. He stabbed her at least 90 times in the chest and abdomen. 90 times. Let that number sit with you for a moment. This was not a momentary loss of control.
You know how much hate in your motherfucking heart you gotta have to stab a motherfucker 90 times? 90 times, gang? I didn't heard this shit. I heard motherfucker stabbing a nigga. No, little 15, little 20. 90 times, shorty. Bro, hey, execute this nigga. Cut his head off. Y'all in England? Hey, bring back the guillotine. Cut this nigga head off, fo. 90 times? Put this nigga under the jail, fo.
This was rage. Sustained, deliberate, catastrophic rage directed at a 19-year-old girl who had crossed an ocean to be with him. After killing Ashley, Jack Seppel sat down and recorded a video message addressed to her sister Haley. "I'm so sorry, Haley, for taking your sister," he said in the recording. He said he loved Ashley. He said he couldn't let her go. He never sent the video to Haley.
I loved your sister. I couldn't let her go. So I'ma stab this bitch 90 fucking times in her chest. Even though she was long gone after probably the first 5. If she's strong, probably the first 10. Depending where it's at for, probably the first 15. 90 times. She was long gone. This nigga is probably covered in fucking blood. Hitting all type of vital organs. And he just, he just keep fucking going. You know how long it take to stab a motherfucker? You know how long it take to stab a motherfucker 90 times? He probably was stabbing this bitch with full rage for at least an hour or 2. And he talking about, "I love your sister." If you love her, slit your throat, folks. Go with her. Like, I don't even know what to say, gang. This nigga, he's a real bitch. And this is why you girls, folks, you girls, y'all need y'all brothers. Y'all need y'all dads. Y'all need some type of male figure in y'all life to tell you that this nigga is a fucking goofy. Not only to tell you that this nigga's a fucking goofy, but to go and break this nigga's nose and his arms and legs and possibly neck. Because if she would have had a brother or just somebody who could have been looking out for her and really cared, this would have all been prevented. Jackass would have been hit upside his head so motherfucking hard he would have been special ed.
He kept it for himself. Then he inflicted minor superficial stab wounds to his own chest. Investigators would later conclude he may have done this to support a future claim of self-defense. Meanwhile, across town, Ashley's church friends Jamie Ashworth and Taylor Borden had received her messages and grown increasingly alarmed when they couldn't reach her. They made their way to the property on Tennyson Road. They knocked. No answer. They could see through the window that someone
You know what I noticed, folks? Why the motherfuckers that go to church had the most gruesome deaths? Let that sink in.
died. They called the police. At around 4 in the afternoon, officers arrived at the house. They knocked and called out for Seppel to come to the door. He did not respond. At that moment, he was on a video call with his sister, telling her what he had done, confessing, calmly. The police broke the door down. They found Jack Seppel inside. They described him as calm. They arrested him without incident. Ashley's body was in the bedroom. In the morning, Ashley's family in Canada woke up to a flood of messages they did not understand. They tried to reach her. She didn't pick up. Within hours, they learned the truth. While they had been sleeping, their daughter, their sister, had been murdered. Ashley's father, Kenneth Wadsworth, has spoken about that morning in terms that no parent should ever have to know. "Your heart breaks," he said. "It is really tough. That's your baby girl and she's gone. There aren't words to describe that sorrow." Kenneth traveled...
I ain't gonna lie. I don't feel sorry for you. You's a straight bitch. You's a bitch, man. If that was your baby girl like you say it is, man, you would have never allowed that. You wouldn't have had her talking to this nigga for 7 years. 7 years. 3 years from a decade. You had her talking to this lame, goofy dork.
to the United Kingdom with his wife Charmaine to handle the paperwork and bring Ashley home. The Chelmsford community, despite most of them never having known her, held vigils near where she was killed. Flowers, balloons, and candles were placed in her memory by strangers who understood that something monstrous had happened to a young woman who had come to their city full of hope. Now came the question that Ashley's family could not stop asking. Who was Jack Seppel, really, and how much did anyone know? The answer, when it came out, was devastating.
This is the fastest way to expose a bad knife. Japanese-inspired kitchen knife for $20. My family had 4 objections why it's a scam, so we tested.
Jack Seppel had 8 previous convictions covering 12 separate crimes, and nearly every single one of them involved domestic violence or controlling behavior toward women. It started...
Yeah, so we've been... I ain't gonna lie, y'all. This shit just overblew me, folks. This shit just overly blew me for a week. I don't really give a fuck about this nigga's history. I don't give a fuck to know this nigga. I don't give a fuck about nothing involving this nigga. So, R.I.P. Ashley. You know what I'm saying? For I'm about this, man. That shit crazy.